A Yankee? Oh, the baseball's going on?
Right now.
Is it playoffs?
Yep. First game of the.
Oh, who's this? Oh, that's the Trumps.
You see blonde hair, you get excited.
I see a woman. I see she
shit.
get excited.
It's Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out, baby. Yeah. We're doing the debates. Yeah. Live 9 o'clock at night on a Tuesday. Yeah. Let me do the freestyle one time. Check it out now. Yeah. We got Biden and Trump on the first debate. Yeah. BT and Deon. Yeah. We never late. We're gonna call it live, just how it is. Yeah. You know how it is.
He got 1.5 bars and was like, yeah, that's enough.
It's all right, I'm getting better. I'm a surprise. By the time we're about 2 months in, you'll be like, damn, T spitting. Like, damn.
You literally practice only when you hear the music here. Like
you have no idea at home. I'm like, man, I'm gonna surprise Deon. Hey, I'm like that meme. Hey, this motherfucker spitting. That meme. That was my favorite meme. This motherfucker spitting, you know?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna show you my bumbles, man.
Special edition.
Oh shit! I'm gonna show you my bumbles. Oh shit, this bitch kind of hot, huh? Look at this shit. But she ain't the one contact. I'm gonna show you what's contacting me. I'm gonna show you what's contacting me. Okay. How about Angela's okay, huh?
Okay.
Angela, I'm gonna show you what Angela look like. I'm telling you what Angela dealing with. Baby girl. Oh shit.
Okay.
What? Oh.
Definitely not who I think you would have swiped on.
What, she swiped on me. I didn't swipe on her.
Yeah.
So obviously I caught her eye. I guess she want an old.
Did you
sugar
swipe
daddy.
right yet?
I didn't swipe right, not on her, but I mean,
Why not?
And neither the other. The other three look like God. I mean, I didn't swipe on them, but God damn, holy shit! Look at that. I mean,
she's got the mud all over her. I thought that'd be right. Probably her feet are dirty.
Oh, I know the feet are dirty. Look at that gut, though. Look at that gut. You know, she plays for the.
That gut's always got cupcakes.
Yeah, you know when you go over her house, she always got something in the cupboard. You want some donuts? Look at that gut, though.
Okay.
She got one of them. Look where she's from, though.
Yeah.
Martinsville.
That'll do it.
She's trying to kill me. That's a setup right there, if I ever heard one.
She's a chocolate chaser.
Literally and figuratively. You want to go Dunkin'? Dunkin' on Tuesday.
My daddy will hate you. That's why I love you.
He ain't gonna shoot. He ain't gonna hurt. He ain't trying to kill you.
First of all, nigga.
He gonna shoot in the air. He gonna shoot in the air. And then he ain't gonna aim.
You are way too mature for my daughter. And I'm gonna be respectful because you're about my age. he won't come out and say the bullshit, but he'll be respectfully disrespectful. Now I normally would call you boy, but your hands is as ashy as mine. So I gotta throw a little respect your way. You look like a man who's been around the block a couple of times. Now you know good and hell well, brother, you are too old for my daughter. She's in her phase. You know the phase that all racist daughters get. You know what I'm talking about. They always want to rebel and make daddy feel bad. Try to get me into that interracial porn. Because I got to see what's happening to my daughter. She won't let me watch.
Everybody watch interracial porn. Everybody does. Black, you watch a black video. That's what he's doing to my daughter. That's what he's doing to my daughter. No. Good Lord, no.
But I can't turn it off. Give me 5 more minutes, Kathleen.
How come you can't do that?
I'm taking notes on niggers.
I think all like that.
Look how far back he pulls it out. If I did that, I would be in the other room.
He's gonna kill my daughter. He's gonna kill her. Maybe knock a couple pounds off of her.
That girl was sweet enough to swipe right on you, and this is how you repay her. You disrespectful motherfucker.
Yeah, I am. I say, hey, listen.
She had the nerve to have tires in her profile picture.
She's literally lifting
you done took 3 pictures of your stomach, and now you got...
She got tires in her picture, but she ain't CrossFitting. She literally lifted tires, but she ain't doing CrossFit. Like, that's how you know this is a country-ass girl.
I gotta help my daddy with his tractor. He wanted a boy so bad.
Hey, we can go fuck in the cornfield if you want to. Watch out for the snakes out. You ever been bit by a corn snake? Hurts like the dickens.
They ain't poisonous, though. And if they were, you could just suck the venom out. You don't got to go to the hospital for everything. Just get your auntie or your uncle to come by. See, 1 out of every 17 white people got lips.
They called my daddy Mick Jagger.
And he's got the moves like Jagger when it comes to snake bites. He'll suck that poison right on out.
One of them hit me in my titty one time. My dad said, boy, you know what? You're my daughter. This ain't right. This ain't right. But we're white. It ain't right. But we're white. So he said, don't tell nobody.
And here I am telling somebody. This is a special episode of Sorry We're Canceled.
Yes, it is. I'm BT.
I'm Deon Curry, and together we are Sorry We're Canceled.
Yes, and this is we're doing the debate episode. It was Wyatt's brilliant idea actually to do the watch the debates and commentate on them as they're going. We don't have copyright. We can't get copyright, so we're gonna watch it as it goes on. We can't do it live, right?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna watch it and talk because it's going through our headphones.
Yeah.
So so we're gonna talk about the debates and we'll see how it goes. Hey, man,
How you doing? We can barely see you,
we
brother.
can't even see you, brother. I'm sorry, man. We just see a silhouette. I'm very sorry. I don't mean to disrespect you, brother. Don't mean to disrespect you, brother. Don't mean to disrespect you. I can just see the silhouette. Yeah.
So yeah, we got Trump versus Biden, Biden versus Trump.
Or the Great Pumpkin versus Corn Pop. The Great Pumpkin versus Corn Pop. You know, Corn Pop was a bad dude.
If I was Trump, I would have a little girl come out on stage with me.
And if I was Biden, I'd come out with the IRS. I was IRS and motherfucking files. Like, do these look familiar, motherfucker?
Come out with your tax returns and make it rain on his head.
Remember these motherfucker? What you didn't pay?
Make it rain with 1099. Shout out to Chris Wallace for putting up with this bullshit. He's a serious anchor who's got two candidates who are the most unserious candidates we could have came up with.
Dude, my favorite is Wolf Blitzer. This is Wolf Blitzer. I love Wolf Blitzer.
Should have got Don Lemon. That would have been awesome.
Oh man, no.
How much Trump hates Don Lemon.
See, like Don Cornelius, if he was alive, that'd have been great, wouldn't it? Hey, what's up, baby? We got the first presidential debate. What y'all gonna do for black people? And then have somebody come down the line doing a robot.
See Trump Jr. out there. My daddy's rich.
My daddy didn't pay taxes.
The poor ghost of Bo is like he's haunting Ivanka. I want to fuck too. If I was Joe Biden, that's literally all I would say is,
We'll say
I'm
what?
gonna fuck your daughter too. I'm gonna fuck your daughter too.
You know what? Biden should just go underhand, like say, hey, so what's the relationship between you and
How's Melania?
Epstein? Epstein, what's up with you and Epstein? I mean, seriously. I mean, just go dirty, man.
You gonna pardon Ghislaine?
Oh, here we go with this bullshit. Here.
If I was Chris Wallace, that's what I would do.
Oh, here comes
There
fuck
he
it.
is.
Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Oh, where am I? Am I here? Holy shit!
Where am I?
Damn it! See, I had a bet where they were gonna shake hands, but they didn't even shake
He
hands.
just said, hey, what's up, man? He goes, how are
It's
you?
because of the corona.
Telling you, in light of all the lies he's told you about the whole issue relating to COVID, he still hasn't even acknowledged that he knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you. He's on record as saying
Talk about his
he
fucking
panicked
pep rallies.
Or he just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died, and a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
So-
Mr. President?
Did you use the word smart?
Smart.
So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't
Who
ever use the word
cares?
smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done
Well, let's
nothing.
have this debate.
And if
We'll
you
see
would have
this.
had, let me just tell you something.
Go, Joe. Don't take that shit from this motherfucker.
The charge of what I was put through. I had to close the greatest economy in the history of our country. And by the way, now it's being built again.
See,
and
we're
it's
We're going
going
to get
up
to the
fast.
economy in the next segment, sir.
Okay.
It's going up fast. I look
Okay.
forward to talking.
When it comes to how the virus has been handled so far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect.
I love how
the
Trump said,
virus
"Don't ever
is
say
handled
smart with
going
me."
forward by
Like, nigga, you
Trump.
stupid too.
Yeah, why don't Biden talk about his? I mean, Jesus, right there.
Reopenings. Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and schools. Why, sir?
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as with the sanitation they need. You have to
Tell
provide
that
them
to Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Well, he just shush for a minute.
Tell it to
The-
Nancy
the-
Pelosi. And Schumer,
by the
crying
way,
Chuck.
Nancy Pelosi and
Crying
Schumer,
Chuck.
they have a plan. He won't even meet with them. The Republicans.
Why
won't
can't
even
why
say-
can't Democrats just
He- he
just
sits
quit
They're,
take,
they're
take
bitches, bro.
quit taking the high road and come down and fucking uppercut this
More
motherfucker?
than I do, Joe.
Hey,
What
man,
about
won't
the
you shut the
question of
fuck up?
reopenings and the fact
Well, he wants to shut down this country.
Oh.
And I want to keep it open. And we
You
did a
ju- he
great thing
just
by
admitted
shutting
he
it
shut
down.
it down.
Wait a minute, Joe.
let him
Let me
finish,
shut
sir.
you down for a second, Joe, just for 1 second.
Keep talking, Joe. Don't take that shit.
Shut down the country. We just went through it. We had to because we didn't know anything about the disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are very, very vulnerable. We learned a lot. Young children aren't. Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down. More people will be hurt by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election
All right,
on
I
November
want to
3rd.
move on to another
Because
subject.
it's a
I want to move
political
on to another
I
subject.
gotta
But
respond.
those,
I
but
wanna
those
move-
states,
gentlemen,
those
I wanna move on
states
to
are
another
not
subject.
doing
Joe,
well.
go,
They're
Joe.
shut down
Which is
right
gotta
now.
respond to that.
President
shut
Trump,
down the
you
whole
have
country.
begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks are
efficacy
okay.
of
You have to
masks?
understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as everybody's had a test.
This nigga just pulled out a condom. Yeah, you know, sometimes I fuck bitches raw, sometimes I don't. If I feel like I need it, if she a dirty hoe, if she an old hoe, I put it on. But I fuck these young bitches raw, yeah, so what?
No, I would go opposite. You fucking young bitches with a condom and old bitches raw. Well, I mean, why?
I will say this.
That's the smart thing, but this nigga ain't smart. He just said don't use smart with me.
Let's give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money. The Congress.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, if everybody wore masks in social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
And they've also
It
said the
matters.
opposite. They've
And
also said
no serious person said the opposite.
They've
No
also said, well, look at-
serious.
All right, I wanna ask-
That crazy fucking African doctor. You don't need the mask. Just get chicken soup, rub on balls, you'll be good.
You get a cow's tail.
I want to ask you both about
Sacrifice goat.
You ever had goat soup? Ooh, that cures everything.
you have campaigned.
Make your dick hard.
You're holding a large
You know, black people. Make your dick hard. You ever had goat soup? Ooh.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with
Because nobody will show up.
I ain't gonna lie, that was funny.
Nobody shows up to his rally.
I ain't gonna lie, that was funny.
Yeah, the people that show up to yours die. That's what I'd hit them with. Yeah, how many people did you kill at yours?
What I have to say. I mean,
But are you
you've
not
done a
worried
great
about it
job
spreading
as a
disease?
president, and I'll have 25, 35,000.
I'd be like, I was gonna invite Herman, but he couldn't make it. I would be roasting this motherfucker.
Well, so far, we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference, according to the experts. And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowds, as you see.
Joe, come on.
Nigga, you had all those Chinese TikTok motherfuckers fucking with you. They fucked up your
And he
numbers.
goes to circles and has 3 people someplace.
Okay.
By the way, did you see
Yes,
that
sir.
one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, no, stand back. Put on your mask. Put on a mask. Have you been tested? I'm way far away from those other people. That's what he said. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing in one another.
We've had no
or
negative
cheek to
effect.
jowl. No negative effect.
We've had no
Ask Herman Cain.
35, 40,000
All right, do you
people
wanna-
at these rallies.
Just
Yes.
quickly finish up because I want to move on to our next.
Yes, I would. He's been totally irresponsible the way in which he has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks, basically encouraged them not to.
All right.
Ben, he's a fool on this.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But again, nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the gentlemen? Can we move on to the economy?
Yes.
The economy is, I think it's fair to say, recovering.
This shit is
faster
hilarious.
than
It is.
expected from the
I gotta
shutdown.
follow this on Twitter.
In the second quarter, the unemployment rate fell to 8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth, which is going to be there, is not going to be nearly as big as they had expected. President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery. Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go first.
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is too much. One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But what happened is we closed it down, and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business. We had 10.4 million people in a 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before.
You know why that's a record, motherfucker? Because we had to shut down, you dumb son bitch.
Destroy this country. You know, a lot of people, between drugs and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening in some of your Democrat-run states where they have these tough shutdowns. And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election. They think they're hurting us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people. People know what to do. They can social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, when you look, and these governors are under siege, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, you got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about almost it's like being in prison. And you look at what's going on with divorce.
You know it's not fair.
Look at what's going on with
Paying only
alcoholism.
$750 in income tax.
That's a sad thing.
He should. He's just sitting there, Joe. You got to attack.
Close down the whole country
Is he asleep?
and destroy our country.
He sleep.
Is this motherfucker
Coming
asleep?
back incredibly well.
Joe!
Setting records as it does it.
Joe!
We don't need somebody to come in and
You know what they need?
shut it
That little dude from like the Little Rascal with a spitball. Who was that?
As I said, posing the question.
What did Joe go?
It's a
Huh?
V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped.
Huh? What was that?
recovery.
Oh,
What's the
God damn it,
The
Joe.
difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis have done very well.
Nigga, you a millionaire too?
Yeah, you did too,
Billionaires
Joe.
have made another $300 billion because of his profligate tax
Babette.
proposal, and
Babette.
he only focused on the market. But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small
He mentioned
towns and
Scranton.
working class towns in America,
Piece of
how
shit
well are you
town.
doing? This guy paid
Well.
a total of $750 in
wrong.
taxes.
There you go, Joe.
Sir, it's
It's
his
the
two-
wrong
Yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back? The fact is that he has, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became
That made his
first
pussy
one in
sit up.
American history. Secondly, the people who have lost their jobs are those people who have been on the front lines, those people who have been saving our lives, those people who have been out there dying, people who've been putting themselves in the way to make sure that we could all try to make it. And the idea that he is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools, why aren't schools open? Because it costs a lot of money to open them safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration was going to give the teachers and school students masks. And then they decided, no, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. He ought to get on the job and take care of the needs of the American people so we can open safely.
All right, your time is up, sir. We are going to get to the,
I
we're
have
gonna,
to respond to that.
well, you both had 2 minutes, sir.
Excuse me, he made a statement.
So did you.
People want their schools.
He made a
They want their
statement.
schools
It's a
open. They don't
debate.
want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town, and I'm not sure it can ever recover. What
They
they've
don't
done
want
in
you
New
there.
Nigga.
That's why you moved to Florida.
places open.
It's like a
They wanna
ghost.
get
New
back to
York,
their lives.
I'm not
They
sure
wanna
it's
be
ever going to be the
safe,
same.
but they want
Yeah,
their
because you keep
schools
making this
open.
shit
I'm
worse.
the one that brought back football. By the way, I brought back Big Ten football. It was me, and I'm very happy to do it. And
All right,
This nigga just said I brought back Big Ten football.
you know,
Yay, Rutgers. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Forward in a moment, but first, Mr. President,
Careful.
as you well know, there's a new report that in 2016, the year you were elected president, and 2017, your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years. I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in federal income taxes each of those 2 years?
I paid millions of dollars in taxes, millions of dollars of income tax. And let me just tell you, there was a story in one
No,
of the
you
papers that
didn't.
I paid $38 million 1 year. I paid $27 million.
Show us your tax
1 year.
return.
I went. You'll
Keep
see
saying
as
it,
soon as
Joe.
It's finished. You'll see it. You know, if you want to go to the Board of Elections. There's a 118-page or so report that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under-leveraged because the assets are extremely good, and we have a I built
Sir,
a great
I'm asking
company.
you a specific question, which
But
is...
let me tell you-
I understand all of that.
Release your
Oh, this is the jankiest internet.
This dude said, on Twitter, who the fuck are these debates for? People just waking up from a 4-year coma.
taxes in 2016 and 2017.
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750.
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to
When?
see it. But let
In
me just
Shalom?
tell you, Chris, let me just say something that it was the tax laws. I don't
Keep
wanna-
going, Joe.
Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits. We build a building and we get tax credits like the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. You get a massive, which, by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that. Now, the man got fired
no,
right after that happened. But
Vice
that's
President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him, put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher on the money a school teacher makes is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code. And he does take advantage of the tax code. That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts. And I'm going to eliminate those tax cuts. And make sure
That's
that we
okay. I already
invest
got my
in
money,
the
bitch.
people that need the
It's
help.
2016, motherfucker. Go ahead. I don't give a shit.
But why didn't you do it over
No,
the
no,
last
no, wait,
25
no,
years?
let's-
Because
I
you
wanna-
weren't
why didn't
president.
you do it over
Because
the
you
last
weren't
25
president
years?
screwing
No,
things up.
You were a
Bitch.
senator, and
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing,
Okay,
including
gentlemen.
fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of
We're
your
talking,
vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward because, Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be elected president, focuses a lot on big government, big
Boom,
taxes,
boom.
big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes.
Why can't Joe just come back? You know what I mean?
More than
He
too
takes.
old, fam.
$4 billion over a decade in new
They're
taxes.
both in their 70s.
on
Yeah, but Trump does
individuals making more
Adderall.
than $400,000
Yeah, he does.
a year.
Yeah, he
So
does.
that nigga's brain is
Corporations.
awakened.
President Trump says
Both on
that
something,
that
for
kind of
sure.
an increase in taxes
The cheap man's
is
cocaine.
going
And it's
to
at
hurt
9
the
o'clock at
economy.
night for 70-year-old people?
Yeah, they're both
Well,
on something.
Let's take a look at what is the analysis done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two,
Fuck
it would
off.
create
Fuck
an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be about buying American. That we're going to make, this federal government spends $600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny.
What?
that-
Who's buying ships and buildings, nigga?
But respectfully, sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
Well, by the way, I'm going to eliminate significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500, who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it
Billions
before
of
when you were vice president with Obama?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was
That's right.
your
I got
tax
it.
proposal.
I got it done. And you know what happened?
you got it done.
Our economy boomed
And,
like it's never
and
boomed.
the economy is
Mr.
busted.
President,
It boomed like it never boomed before.
Like it's never
would
boomed.
continue
Let me say boom, boom, boom.
for deregulation, correct?
Not lower tax for the American people.
But let me,
Excuse me.
but in Obama's, you talk about the economy booming, it turns out that in Obama's
Dude got little
3
hands.
years as president, more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If you got in, if you ever became president with your ideas, you want to terminate my taxes, I'll tell you what, you'll lose half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty
Half
of
of the
companies that are
companies,
already here, they'll leave for
hardly
other
any companies
places.
have
They will
poured in
leave,
here.
and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look,
Mr.
we
Vice President.
inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American
That
history.
is so true.
I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't
He blew
booming.
it.
Yes, it was booming.
I said a boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say economy.
When, in
When
fact,
COVID came in.
when there was record low unemployment
Yeah.
before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse
number
me,
one.
Chris, wait.
Number two.
Chris,
Number three.
They said it would take, no, you're on number two.
No.
Chris, they said it would
This
take
guy
a
is-
miracle to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing.
We
Part
did
of my
not regret-
standard fare.
I'm the guy
He
that brought
totally
back the
gave up on
automobile industry.
manufacturing.
All right, let him.
We brought back.
Yeah, they did.
to bring back
Yeah, that shit
Chrysler
cost me a
and
lot of
General
money.
Motors.
Fuck all that.
State of Ohio
You should have let them
and
niggas go.
He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not
Many
true.
car companies
No,
came in from Germany, from
not-
Japan,
no.
went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not having
And
it.
they didn't come in with you.
Mr. Vice President, go ahead.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. He's done very little. His trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher
Oh, nice, Joe. Oh,
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch. Down
All right, gentlemen,
18%.
in-
China ate your lunch, Joe.
Yeah,
And no
they
wonder
did it
your
with
son
chopsticks.
He takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also,
Billions
while
and
we're at it,
millions.
Why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million.
Uh-oh.
What did he
Not
do
true.
to deserve it?
That
What
is-
did he do with Burisma
None
to
of that
deserve
is true.
$183,000?
None
You've
of
asked your
that is
question,
true.
let him answer. If
None of that.
oh, he's
is
going
true.
dirty now. You got to go, Joe. Dirty, got to go, Dojo. Dirty, Joe.
Totally,
President, please. you've
totally
asked the question.
discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
Well, wait, he
they're
didn't get
No, no.
$3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice,
He got
Mr.
$3.5 million.
President,
that is not true.
Oh,
Here's-
really?
Mr.
Oh.
President,
But, Mis-
it's an open discussion, please.
Now,
It's a fact.
Well,
There's- it
you
is
have
not
raised an
fact.
issue, let the
been
Vice
totally
President answer.
Discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report.
$183,000 a month?
Did they pay the nigga the money? Check his taxes. You want to talk about taxes? Check his taxes.
Wrong at Burisma,
I think he
and
did.
Mr.
the only
President,
guy that
let
did
him
something-
answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited.
who?
And
The media?
By everybody. Well, by the
By the
media,
media,
by our
because they refuse to
allies, by
talk
the
about it
World
because they're
Bank,
embarrassed.
by everyone has discredited. Matter of fact, even the
President.
people
He
who
paused like he had a
testified
kidney stone.
under oath. So under oath,
No,
under
no,
oath,
go ahead, Mr. I'm listening
I'm gonna have to pee that one out later.
he testified under oath in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well.
Oh,
I
really?
did it
I'd like to
honorably.
know who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list of the
fire
people who
them.
testified.
He said, I'll fire them niggas immediately.
Because they did a good job.
Some people don't do
Well,
a good
here's
job.
the,
With you,
Go ahead. You
Well,
get the
here's the
wait a minute. You get the final word, Mr.
well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this.
Hey,
this
let me just
person.
say, Jim.
No. Mr.
Joe, don't be
Nah,
nice,
you already
Joe.
called him a
Quit
clown,
being
nigga.
fucking nice,
You already
Joe.
called him a clown.
Can't go back on that when you say clown.
Here's the deal. We want to talk about
Shot.
families and ethics. I don't want to do that. I mean, his family we could talk about all night. His family's
My
already.
family,
let him go.
my family
already
lost
wrote
a fortune by coming down and helping
Go
us
ahead.
with
Go
government.
ahead, sir.
And that's such a.
They're right
that's
here.
a-
Mr.
That's such
Every
a great.
single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune
about
by
my
coming and
family or his
helping us
family.
with
It's
government.
about your family,
They
the
didn't buy
American
$3.5
people.
million
He doesn't. That's not true. It doesn't want to talk about what you need. You, the American people. It's about you. That's what we're talking about
you
here.
should-
All right,
Not
that's the end of the segment. We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice
it's a very-
President,
but Chris,
no.
Can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
No, I
He
think
stood up.
No,
He stood up.
the answer to
and
the
he
question is
threatened-
no.
He said, I said no, motherfucker.
That is
You know what, you're-
absolutely not
Stop.
true.
Tape doing it.
You're going to
Not
have
true.
Gentlemen,
Is-
I hate to raise my voice, but I
He's
see
on
it seems
tape.
to be, why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the
Got a
deal.
good point.
We have 6 segments. We have ended that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want.
It will not be uninterrupted.
I know. Cut his mic.
If you want to answer.
Why does everybody get bullied by this dude?
I think that the country.
I bet, man, Bernie would eat this motherfucker alive.
Yeah, Democrats fucked up on that one.
You, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more
Oh,
interrupting
that's
than
all
he
right,
has.
but he does plenty.
I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I?
Please continue.
I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say. Bounces off me and sticks to you. These grown ass kids. Shut the fuck up.
In Charlottesville 3 years ago, when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was
I was trying to be like,
directly
why you bringing up old shit? Why you bringing up old shit?
to
In
law
Germany, he's
to
like,
run for president. President Trump, you have often said that you believe you have done more for black Americans than any
Oh,
president.
this is gonna be
with the possible
cringeworthy.
exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years?
Oh,
Vice
this is
President
where it gets
Biden,
good,
you
good,
go
good, good.
first.
It's about equity and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people looked like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, just spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very fine people on both sides. No president has ever said anything like that.
Yes, they have.
Now, second,
Yes, they have.
second,
Oh!
See?
Not on the good shit. This is the good shit now. This is the good shit.
God damn it.
Fuck. Janky
God
ass
damn
CNN. Come on. Badass. Who do you have? Spectrum?
Probably.
And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with him said all he ever wants to do is divide people, not unite people at all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division. This is a man who, in fact, you talk about helping African Americans. 1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500.
I don't feel good now.
This man is the savior of African Americans. This man cares at all. This man has done.
That ain't Trump's fault.
Yeah, it is. I'm blaming this motherfucker for everything.
You have to look at what
He said, I don't feel good now. Goddamn Trump.
disastrous for the
Can't
African
walk up those steps. They're going.
President Trump, you have 2 minutes. Why should Americans trust you over your opponent to deal with
He
racism?
did a crime bill, 1994, where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you a super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community
That's
about
94.
as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why, if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time because they saw what you did. You call them super predators, and you've called them worse than that because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals, total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in
Law
the United
enforcement's
States.
racist.
I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio.
Bastions
I
of
have-
racial equality.
Yeah, no shit.
The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look
Come
at
on,
Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day and they put up their hands and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top
Nigga, you just
40
said he passed the crime bill, so which is it?
by Democrats and in many cases radical left, and they've got
Which
you
is it,
wrapped
motherfucker?
around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right. I want to return to
He
the
didn't answer the
question
question.
of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there is. There's systemic injustice in this country, in education and work and in law enforcement and the way in which it's enforced. But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women.
Wrong.
No, they're not.
They risk their lives
Wrong.
every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples. And when they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. And what I'm going to do as President of the United States is call together an entire group of people at the White House, well, everything from the civil rights groups to the police officers, the police chiefs, and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out so we change the way in which we have more transparency.
enforcement don't wanna do that,
when
though.
These things happen.
They don't
These
wanna
cops
do that.
aren't happy to see what happened to George Floyd. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to Breonna Taylor. Most don't like it. But we have to have a system where people are held accountable. And by the way, violence in response is never appropriate. Never appropriate.
Yes, it is.
Peaceful protest
Yeah,
is.
it is.
Whoop a nigga ass who keep fucking with you.
All right. this-
Whoop a nigga ass who keep
When
fucking
they
with
run
you.
through the middle of the
President-
town
President Trump-
and burn down your
President Trump,
stores
I-
and kill people all
President
over
Trump,
the place,
that
and you
is
say
not
peaceful
peaceful
protest.
President
No,
Trump,
it's
I'm not
not, but
asking-
you say it is.
I did
President
not
Trump,
say
I'd
it.
like to continue with the
Yes,
issue
go
of
ahead,
race. I
please.
promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order
Please.
in a moment. This month, your
Joe takes too much
administration
shit.
directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race theory. Why did you decide to do that, to end racial sensitivity training? And
'Cause I don't like
do you
niggas.
believe that there is systemic racism in this country?
What do you want me to say?
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane, that it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in our schools, all over the place, and you know it, and so does everybody
what
else.
is radical,
and he would know.
What is
Oh, it's
radical
totally
about
racist.
racial sensitivity training?
Chris is
You
doing more
were a
talking than
conservative
Joe.
person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and frankly very sick ideas. And really, they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen.
You
We
don't
have to
teach
go
people to hate the
back
country. The
before
country does it
veterans of
itself.
this country. They were teaching people that our country is a horrible place, it's a racist place, and they were teaching people
Newsflash.
to hate the country. And I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Vice President Biden?
Nobody's doing that. He's
Oh,
the
you-
racist.
You just don't.
Here's the deal. I know a lot more about
You
this
don't
than
know.
he does.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware of what other people feel like, what insults them, what is demeaning to them. It's important to people know. They don't want to. Many people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but it makes a big difference. It makes a gigantic difference in the
You're
way a
work.
child
You hurt my
is able to
feelings.
grow and have a sense of
You
self-esteem.
calling me a nigga in the break room hurt my feelings.
Nigga, if you don't get back to your motherfucking cubicle.
Down on so many
He
people.
called me a darkie in the break room, and that hurt my
Irish
feelings.
Catholics like me and grew up in Scranton. They look down on people who don't have money. They look down on people who are of a different faith. They look down on people who are a different color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is bring everybody together. There's nothing we cannot do.
They don't
if
wanna
we
be
do it
together, Joe.
together. We can take this on and we can defeat racism
Vice
in America.
President
No, you
Trump,
can't.
sir.
During the Obama-Biden administration, there was tremendous division.
Because of you, birther ass nigga.
Ferguson, you go to many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened.
Yeah,
in
look what
Baltimore.
happened in
Look
Oakland.
happened
Niggas was saying police is wildin', and your ass was like, law and order. Fuck you, man. This nigga.
Democrats that run these cities.
This motherfucker get on my last goddamn
like you
nerve.
about law and order.
Violent
And you still
crime-
haven't mentioned.
violent
Are you in
crime.
favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law.
I hate this show, SVU.
Law and order? Go ahead,
Yes,
say
I'm
it.
a-
You asked a question, let him finish.
Law and order.
Loses
Let
Law
him-
and order.
let him answer.
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, violent crime went down 17%, 15% in our administration.
All right.
It's gone up on his watch.
Went down much more
he
in
had-
ours.
All right, we're
He
now.
is
You're,
president of
Mr.
the
President,
United
you're going
States of
to.
America.
We
Mr.
were
President,
breaking every record in the
Mr.
book.
President, you're going to be very happy because we're now going to talk about law and order.
Places we had trouble were Democratic-run cities.
That's
and
exactly my question. There has been a dramatic increase in homicides in America this summer, particularly, and you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact, there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like Tulsa and Fort Worth. So the question
Wow, I
is
live in.
this
I mean, my
party
family's
issue?
from Oklahoma.
I think it's a party issue. You can bring in a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, where 53 people were shot. And
He
8
said
died
Tulsa.
shot. If you look at New York, where it's going up like nobody's ever seen anything, the numbers.
But
are
it's a
going
ghost
up
town. How can it go up?
200%.
This nigga bull.
Crime.
Republican
It is
cities.
crazy what's going on, and he doesn't want to say law and order because he can't, because he'll lose his radical left supporters. And once he
Joe,
does
you
that,
gotta
it's over.
attack him,
If
Joe.
he ever got to run this country, and they ran it the way he
Can they
would
tag
run
team and have Kamala Harris come
We
in?
want
I got it. like the WWF match.
and you would
I got it.
He's getting pummeled. Come on. Come on. It's a hot tag. She hops in the ring, starts clotheslining everybody. Ivanka runs in. She gets a drop kick.
Right in the pussy.
Then Trump starts fucking her. Thanks, Kamala.
Black and white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time in the past.
There's fucking his
What really
daughter.
is a threat to the suburbs and their safety is his failure to deal with COVID. They're dying in the suburbs. His failure to deal with the environment. They're being flooded. They're being burned out because his refusal to do anything. That's why the suburbs are in trouble.
I do want to talk about this issue of law and order, though. And in the joint recommendation that came from the Biden-Bernie Sanders task force, you talked about, quote, reimagining policing. First of all, what does reimagining policing mean, and do you support?
It means
Let me, if I might finish the question. What does reimagining policing mean, and do you support the Black Lives Matter call for community control of policing?
Look, what I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And I'm totally opposed to defunding the police officers. As a matter of fact, local police, the only one defunding in his budget calls for a $400 million cut in local law enforcement assistance. They need more assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down.
True.
We have to have community policing like we had before, where the officers get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be engaged.
That's not what
in
they're
prevention.
talking about,
That-
Chris. That's
well,
not what
that-
they're talking about.
that's
He's talking about
exactly-
defunding the police.
That is not true.
He doesn't have any law
Would you
support.
look?
He has no law enforcement
That's not
support.
true.
Almost
That's
nothing.
not. Look,
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go
Look,
ahead.
look.
Think. We have time.
Herman Cain's family.
Name one law enforcement group that came out and
I think,
supported
gentlemen,
you.
I think I'm going to take back the
There aren't.
moderator's
I don't
role,
think there are any.
and I want to get to another subject,
We all
which
know
is
law
the issue of
enforcement's racist.
protests in many cities that have turned violent. In Portland, Oregon, especially, we had more than 100 straight days of protests, which I think you would agree. You talk about peaceful protests. Many of those turned
They're not
into
peaceful.
riots. Mr. Vice President, you say that people who commit crimes should be held accountable. The question I have, though, is as the Democratic nominee, and earlier tonight you said that you are the Democratic Party right now, have you ever called the Democratic mayor of Portland or the Democratic governor of Oregon and said, hey, you got to stop this, bring in the National Guard, do whatever it takes
Nah,
but
why
you
would I do
stop
that?
the days and months of violence in
Nigga,
Portland?
I'm former vice president. They don't got to listen to me.
I am a former vice president. I've made
Told
it
you.
clear. I've made it clear in my public statements that the violence should be prosecuted. It should be prosecuted, and anyone who commits it.
But
should
you've
be
never called for
prosecuted.
the people,
He's never
the
said
leader. Excuse me, sir. You had never called for the leaders in Portland and in Oregon to call
Because
bring in
they-
the National Guard and knock
Well,
off 100 days of riots.
They can, in fact, take care of it if he just stay out of the way. Look here.
Oh, really?
here-
Oh, really?
Here's the
But
thing.
I sent
sir,
in
no,
the
wait, I
U.S.
asked him a
Marshals to
question.
get the killer of the young man in the middle of the street. They shot him, and
Right.
for 3
Mr.
days,
President Trump,
Portland
President
wouldn't do
Trump,
anything. I
please
had to send
interrupt
in the U.S. Marshals.
President
They
Trump,
took care of business.
go
Cut this
ahead.
nigga's
And by
microphone.
the way, his own former spokesperson said, riots and chaos and violence help his cause. That's what this is all about.
I don't know who said that.
I do.
Who?
I think Kellyanne Conway.
I don't think she said that.
She said that.
I don't
And so here's the
All right.
He goes, I don't think she. He goes, I don't think she said that.
That's what he is keeps trying to rile everything up. He doesn't want to calm things down. Instead of going in and talking to people and saying, let's get everybody together, figure out how to deal with this. What's he do? He just pours gasoline in the fire constantly,
And-
every single solitary.
Okay.
It's American gas.
End this, button up this segment. I'm going to give you a minute to answer, sir. You have repeatedly
Well, wait, I
criticized.
have to answer his
No,
statement.
you have
His statement.
repeatedly.
Wait,
you have
just one
no.
second.
You've been talking
You
back
made
and
a
forth.
statement.
I'm asking you.
I would love to
you know,
end it.
sir.
I would love to end it, and
you
we
know, if
would
you want to
very-
switch seats,
We would
could
very quickly.
We could do that, but
I'd send in the National Guard, it would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay,
But they
good.
don't want to accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing
That's right.
extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm willing
prepared to
do that,
specifically
but
do it?
Well, go ahead.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right
You
wing.
see-
What are
If
you
look-
saying?
I'm willing to do
According to
anything
Fox
I wanna
News,
see.
man, it's all lefties.
Do it. Say it.
You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name. Go ahead.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what.
Stand by.
Stand by, my niggas.
Something about Antifa
After
and
November, we ride.
right-wing problem.
His
This
own
is a left wing.
FBI director
This
said
is a
the
left-wing
threat
problem.
of white
Go ahead, sir.
supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
gotta be
Not
kidding.
militia. That's what his
It's an idea.
His
Okay.
FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well,
we're
then
gonna,
you know what?
No,
He's
no,
wrong.
we're done, sir.
Everybody-
we're moving on to the next.
everybody
We're moving.
gives you
Bat
advice
hits
in
you
your
over the head.
administration.
There you go. Go, Joe.
Your
Is bad.
administration tells you the truth is a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas. that are
Antifa is a dangerous
All right,
radical
gentlemen, we're
group.
now moving.
And what about the KKK who's been around forever?
I know David Duke. Never heard of David Duke.
David who? Dee? Never heard of him.
I said I brought back the Big Ten, not Duke.
Oh, that was nice.
The Big Ten, baby. Michigan Wolverines.
Compare me to the alternative.
Buckeyes.
In this case, sir, you are the alternative. Looking at both of your records, I'm going to ask each of you, why should voters elect you president over your opponent? In this segment, President Trump, you go first, 2 minutes.
Because there has never been an administration or president who has done more than I've done in a period of 3.5 years. And that's despite the impeachment hoax. And you saw what happened today with Hillary Clinton, where it was a whole big con job. But despite going through all of these things, where I had to fight both flanks and behind me and above, there has never been an administration that's done what I've done. The greatest, before COVID came in, the greatest economy in history, lowest unemployment numbers. Everything was good. Everything was going. And by the way, there was unity going to happen. People were calling me for the first time in years.
There
they
was
were calling,
unity
and
going
they were
to
saying,
happen.
It's time, maybe. And then what happened? We got hit, but now we're building it.
It was
back
all
up
good
again.
till just a week ago.
Rebuilding of the military,
Remember that
building
song?
Space Force, and
It was
all
all
the
good
other
just a
things.
week ago. Remember that Jay-Z song?
We were gonna get along till COVID shut everything down, man. We had to go back to our corners and start all over.
My nigger neighbor, I was going to go talk to my nigger neighbors.
I was actually gonna shake his hand, but they outlawed handshaking.
My grandma had some fried chicken. I said, hey, nigger neighbor, you want some of this fried chicken?
You know what, man? Nothing on me 6 feet long. He tried to reach over. I was like, not in my yard, buddy.
By the end of the first
After
term,
COVID, I
we'll
said,
have
nope.
Approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300, and hopefully 3 great Supreme Court judges, justices. That is a
He's
record,
appointed
the likes of which
194
very few
judges.
people-
Not
and you
one
know
of them
the
is black.
reasons I'll have
Not
so many
one.
judges? Because
Not
President
one.
Obama and him left me 128 judges to fill. When you leave office, you don't leave any judges. That's like you just don't do that.
Joe, you
He
gotta
left
go dirty, Joe.
128 openings, and if I were a member of his party, because they have a little different philosophy, I'd say if you left us 128 openings, you can't be a good president. You can't be a good vice president. But I want to thank you because it gives us almost. It'll probably be above that number by the end of this term.
Fine, sir.
300 judges. It's a record.
Looking at both your records, why should voters elect you president as opposed to President Trump?
this
You have 2
president-
minutes uninterrupted.
Under this president, we become weaker, sicker, poorer, more divided, and more violent. When I was vice president, we inherited a recession. I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him a booming economy.
She said
and he
we were
caused
asked.
the recession. With regard to being weaker, the fact is that I've gone head-to-head with Putin and made it clear to him we're not going to take any of his stuff. He's Putin's puppy. He still refuses to even say anything to Putin about the bounty on the heads of American soldiers.
Your son got
And-
$3.5 million.
And by the way, my son,
Wait a minute.
Shut up!
Mr. President, your campaign agreed to both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
he never keeps his word. Can you add back
No,
He's
I'm
a
not asking.
person that's
That
not
was a
yelling.
rhetorical question. Go ahead,
back
sir.
30 seconds?
Yeah, yes, you may have.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, thirdly, we're poor. The billionaires
Thirdly?
are much more wealthy by a tune of over
Fucking hate this
$400
guy.
billion more just since COVID. You in the home, you got less. You're in more trouble than you were before. In terms of being more violent, when we were in office, there were 15% less violence in America than there is today. He's President of the United States. It's on his watch. And with regard to more divided, the nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military,
I'd have
the
whooped
way
your
you talk
motherfucking
about
ass.
them being losers and being
Tell my son like that.
and just being suckers. My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Beau Biden. You're talking
don't
about.
know. I
being
don't
a
Now
know.
he's
hero.
pissy. Now he's pissed. Look at it. He's on the red.
Thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He
For
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president. And once you
None of
became
that
vice
is true.
president, he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
He
My
made a
son-
fortune.
Check his taxes, my nigga.
He's talking about your fucking son, bro.
Like a lot of people we know at home.
Yeah, I
Not a
flip that
drug
podium
problem.
over. Be like, what you want to do, bitch ass nigga?
My
Don't-
son?
Don't get whooped in front of all these motherfucking Americans, my nigga.
Why was he
Father,
given
my
tens
son.
of millions
All
of
right,
dollars?
he
It
wasn't
ain't gonna
given
hurt.
$10 million. That
Tens
is
of
totally,
millions of
that's been
dollars.
totally,
You're gonna be working on your third hip, you said.
totally discredited.
We've already been through this. I think the American people would rather hear about more substantial subjects. Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make a judgment call here.
Gets $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow.
Let's talk about
not true.
Gentlemen,
That report is totally discredited. Mitt Romney on that
Who
committee
cares
said
why he
it wasn't
got
the
it?
taxpayers' money that
You know what he
was
should say?
for political
Fake
reasons.
news. Ooh.
I'd have been like, why did Stormy Daniels get 130,000?
Yo, in your face.
Why Stormy Daniels get
In your
130,000?
face.
Yeah, you want to talk about payments, my nigga? Let's talk about Stormy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's raining over here, ain't it? Oh, that shut
call-
your ass up.
They call it Stormy Daniels.
What did? What would you have bought Melania with that 130,000?
Oh, I forgot you still married.
the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord.
Bitch ass nigga.
Ask your bitch what she thinks about Stormy. Ask your bitch.
I'll be dropping haymakers on this nigga. I'll be like,
Ask your bitch what she felt about Stormy. Was that part of the taxes?
I want crystal clean water and air. I want beautiful, clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look at our numbers right now, we are doing phenomenal.
Hey, it looked like a turtle.
Joe Biden looked at the numbers. Nigga, what?
It looked like a turtle. Like,
Commission, if you look at the
it's like Enoch from Land of the Lost. Remember Enoch? Remember Enoch from Land of the Lost? Master Luke. Remember that?
No.
You don't remember Land of the Lost? No. Oh, yes, right. You weren't born then. Oh, that's true. That's true. My bad. My bad.
You was alive during the land of the lost.
the forest floors are loaded up with trees, dead trees, that are years old, and they're like tinder.
Touche. As Cat Williams like, touche, my nigga, touche.
You've got to have forest management.
What do you
You've got to
believe?
have cuts.
What do you believe?
You gotta go rake the forest. Everybody knows you gotta rake the forest to get the leaves.
that we have to do everything we can to have immaculate air, immaculate water, and do whatever else we can that's good. You know, we're planting 1 billion trees, the Billion Tree Project, and it's very
You
exciting. for a
believe
lot of
that
people.
Nigga, where? Where are you planting these billion trees, nigga?
Portland.
Where-
Portland.
You gonna put them on Herman Cain's grave, nigga? What are you?
Hey, he's gonna replace people with trees. All the people that died from COVID are gonna get a tree.
California's burning. California's burning. If that was clean,
The Billion Tree Project. Where, nigga?
forest management,
Firemen are like, no. Firemen are like, no.
forest cities. They're called forest cities. They maintain their forests. They manage their forests. I was with the head of a major country. It's a forest city. He said, sir, we have trees that are far more, they ignite much easier than California. There shouldn't be that problem. I spoke with the governor about it. I'm
Our
saying,
trees burn better.
I said, you know, at some point,
Go America. We got fire trees, man.
Tell us what country it was, you fucking liar. Oh, tell us what country it was.
because of a lack
Was it Russia?
Nigga gonna say it was Puerto Rico.
rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan, which limited carbon emissions.
I was with the head of another country. It's Puerto Rico.
As I was giving him some paper towels.
He's made from trees that burn down.
not really, because what's happening
There'll
is
be a lot of toilet paper. You know how much toilet paper you can make with a billion trees? That next COVID, that next wave. That third wave, shit. We're going to be ready.
we have the old slugs out there that are 10, 12 years old. If you did that, the car would be safer. It would be much cheaper by
But in the case of California,
$3,500.
they've simply
No, but you
ignored
would take
your
a lot of
rollback.
cars off the market because people would be able to afford a car. Now, and by the way, we're going to see how that turns out. But a lot of people agree with me, many people. The car has gotten so expensive because they have computers all over the place for an extra little bit of gasoline. And, and I'm okay with electric cars, too. I think I'm all for electric cars. I've given big incentives for electric cars. But what they've done in California is just crazy.
Joe, you got to tag Joe.
Vice President Biden, I'd like you to respond to the president's climate change record, but I also want to ask you about a concern. You proposed $2 trillion in green jobs. You talk about new limits, not abolishing, but new limits on fracking, ending the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity by 2035, and zero net emission of greenhouse gases by 2050. The president says a lot of these things would tank the economy and cost millions of jobs.
He's absolutely wrong, number one. Number two, if in fact, during our administration, the Recovery Act, I was in charge, able to bring down the cost of renewable energy to cheaper than or as cheap as coal and gas and oil. Nobody's going to build another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America. they're going to move to renewable energy, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure
Actually,
that we
number
are able to
4.
take the federal fleet and turn it into a fleet that's run on
You were past
electric
third
vehicles.
lead.
Making sure that we can do that. We're going to put 500,000 charging stations and all of the highways that we're going to be building in the future. We're going to build an economy that, in fact, is going to provide for the ability us to take 4 million buildings and make sure that they, in fact, are weatherized in a way that, in fact, they'll emit significantly less gas and oil because the heat will not be going out. There's so many things that we can do now to create thousands and thousands of jobs. We can get to net zero in terms of energy production by 2035. Not only not costing people jobs, creating jobs, creating millions of
That's
good
15
paying
years. I
jobs.
might be around.
Not 15
I
bucks
But
might-
you ain't going to be working.
prevailing wage by having
You ain't going to have one of them new jobs.
I'll be planting them motherfucking trees.
the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris
A billion
because
trees,
that's what-
nigga?
look what's
How many,
happening.
how many
It's
people?
all
How many people does it take to plant a billion trees?
Talk about
How many people?
something that
Even in
Nigga.
China, if you gave one person a tree in China a day,
The rainforest of Brazil are being
That's
torn down,
1.7
are being burned
billion
down.
trees.
More carbon is absorbed in that rainforest than
Where you
every
gonna put 'em,
other
nigga?
country in the United
Where you going to
States.
put them?
Instead of
My
doing
backyard.
something about that, I would be gathering up and making sure we had.
Hey, man, did you get
some
you a tree for
countries in
Christmas?
the world coming up
Yeah,
with
nigga, I had to chop it down myself.
$20 billion.
I chopped down the tree to plant a tree.
and we got to ban another goddamn tree.
Tearing down the forest. And
Be a
if
lot
you
of
don't
tree houses in that motherfucker.
significant economic
Tree house production is growing.
That's where the new jobs are.
Tree house production is gonna be a motherfucker coming up.
economic interests, and he's drawn his line.
Well, he hadn't drawn a line. He still, for example, makes sure that he wants to make sure that methane's not a problem. You can now emit more methane without it being a problem. Methane. This is a guy who says that you don't have to have mileage standards for automobiles that exist now. This is the guy who says that, well, the fact that it's all true. And here's
He's
the deal.
talking about the Green New Deal, and it's not $2 billion or $20 billion, as you said. It's $100 trillion.
I'm talking about
where they
the
want to rip
Biden
down
plan.
Go for a
buildings
minute, and then you can go.
and rebuild the building.
No,
It's the
that is
dumbest,
not-
most
that is
ridiculous.
not-
Where airplanes are out of business,
That's a-
where two-car systems are out, where they
Not
want to
true.
take out the cows too.
Not
That's not true either, right?
Not
This is a 100.
Gotta move these cows. Where I'm going to put all these trees, nigga?
country could make in
That is
100
simply
years if we're
not
going
the case.
All right, let me,
will-
let me,
it
let me,
will
let me,
destroy our
because I
country.
actually, wait a minute, sir, I actually have studied your plan, and it includes upgrading 4 million buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4 years, building 1.5 million energy-efficient homes. So the question becomes, the president is saying, I think some people who support the president would say that sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money and hurt the economy.
What it's going to do is going to create thousands and millions of jobs, good paying jobs.
But let him finish, sir.
He doesn't know how to do that.
$100
They-
billion.
The fact is, it's going to
He don't know
create
how to let me
millions
finish.
of good paying jobs, and these tax incentives to people for people to weatherize, which he wants to get rid of. It's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying now to deal with the hurricanes. By the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them. They may.
I never said that.
That's
at all.
he did
Yeah,
say
you
that.
did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did.
Make up a-
We
Your supporters were out there shooting them with guns.
can create hard, good jobs by making sure the environment is clean and we all are in better shape. We spend billions of dollars on floods, hurricanes, rising seas. We're in real trouble. Look what's happened just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa. They didn't happen before. They're because of global warming. We make up 15% of the world's problem. We, in fact, but the rest of the world, we've got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into the Paris Accord.
All right, gentlemen,
Wait a minute, Chris. So why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the world? China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does. India does. They all do. We're supposed to be good. And by the way, he made a couple of statements. The Green New Deal is $100 trillion.
That is
not
not
20
my
billion.
plan.
That's
The Green
well,
New
you want to
Deal
rebuild every
is not
building.
my plan.
I want to rebuild
all right.
every.
If he knew anything
wait,
about,
wait.
if he knew
Gentlemen,
He
anything
made a
about,
statement about the military. He said I said something about the military. He and his friends made it up, and then they went with it. I never said it.
Okay.
That is
What
not
he
true.
did
Sir,
is he
you're done in
said
this segment.
he called
Mr.
the
Vice-
military
Mr. Vice President,
stupid bastards.
I
and he
did
said
not
it on
say
tape.
that.
He said
Mr.
stupid
please,
bastards. He
sir,
said it.
stop.
I would never
I
say
would
that.
He called them stupid bastards, man. I was out there playing trees. I heard him.
Answered his
I still gotta plant them goddamn trees.
You know how much a billion trees is, man?
That's my retirement plan. I'm building my house with them trees. They'll never find out. With the bigger trees, you can build your house with them trees. They ain't gonna find out. Hey man, where the fuck them 30 trees come from?
How come you ain't pay no income taxes or property taxes, nigga? This is a tree house. You gotta pay no. This is Earth's crib. You gotta charge Mother Earth for that. This is her property.
Once October hits, though, we go to bed early.
No, I don't support the Green New Deal.
We ain't got no electricity in that motherfucker.
Support the
You just lost the radical left.
I support the Biden plan that I put forward.
Okay.
The Biden plan, which is different than what he calls the radical Green New Deal.
All right, gentlemen, final segment,
Thank God.
election integrity. As we meet tonight,
Oh, God,
millions
this is
of
gonna be great.
Americans are receiving
Integrity?
mail-in ballots or going to vote early. How confident should we be that this will be a fair election, and what are you prepared to do over the next 5
Weeks. Oh man, this is raggedy internet, bro.
I guess it must be Spectrum. Fucking Spectrum.
You gotta pay by the gigabyte. What the
president will be the legitimate winner of this election? In this final segment, Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let people vote. They should go to iwillvote.com. Decide how they're going to vote, when they're going to vote, and what means by which they're going to vote. His own Homeland Security Director, and as well as the FBI Director, says there is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated and cheating. They said that. The fact is that there are going to be millions of people because of COVID that are going to be voting by mail-in ballots, like he does, by the way. He sits behind the Resolute desk and sends his ballot to Florida, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to scare people into thinking that it's not going to be legitimate. Show up and vote. You will determine the outcome of this election. Vote, vote, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election.
They can in Georgia.
Determine whether or not when the votes are
They're
counted,
dirty,
all
bro.
counted, that will be accepted.
Oh, y'all can't vote here. You gotta go down 3 more counties. There's a line. You might want to get in.
It's called Mississippi.
He's not sure what he's going to
There's a
accept.
line forming.
I'll tell you
It's
something.
gonna be about 18 hours.
If we-
Polls will be closed by then. But if you get in line before we close them,
we can't
you
stand
probably won't get in.
We'll make sure you won't.
Because if you got a line, you gotta go
Just
back.
make sure you
There's no holding spots, and you can't Chinese cut because that's voter cheating.
what this country's gonna look
If you
like.
Chinese cut in line,
Is it gonna change? If you want
it's
more,
voter fraud. You become a Chinese if you Chinese. cut.
So when I listened to Joe talking about a transition, there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started from the day I won and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our First Lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that because we caught you in a sense. And President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it too. So don't tell me about a free transition. As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump, just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. They're being sent all over the place. They sent 2 in a Democrat area.
Maybe he didn't want to vote for you, my nigga.
Everybody
Maybe he threw that shit away.
fraud like you've never seen. The other thing, it's nice on November 3rd, you're watching and you see who won the election. And I think we're going to do well because people are really happy with the job we've done. But you know what?
No,
we
they're
won't know. We
not.
might not know for months because these ballots are going to be all over. Take a look at what happened in Manhattan. Take a look at what happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia and other places. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud, and it's a shame. And can you imagine where they say you have to have your ballot in by November 10th? November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election, in theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that,
sir,
all run by
2 minutes
Democrats.
is 2 minutes.
All run by
You're-
Democrats. It's
President
a fraud.
Trump,
It's a rigged election.
you're going to be able to continue. You have been charging for months that mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster. You say it's rigged, that it's going to lead to fraud. But in 2018, in the last midterm election, 31 million people voted mail-in voting. That was a quarter, more than a quarter, of all the voters that year cast their ballots by mail. Now that millions of mail-in ballots have gone out, what are you going to do about it? And are you counting on the Supreme Court, including a Justice Barrett, to settle any dispute?
Yeah, I think I'm counting on them to look at the ballots, definitely. I hope we don't need them. in
I think
terms
it's
of
just
the
going to go
election
until
itself.
January.
But for the ballots,
I really
think
do.
so.
This
Because
nigga's gonna
what's
lose, man.
happening is
No, he's
incredible.
gonna
I just
cheat,
heard, I
like he-
read
like he
today,
always
at
does.
least 1% of the ballots for 2016 were
We should have got Bernie.
invalidated.
We should have got Bernie.
They take them. We don't like them. We don't like them.
But what
They
are you
throw
going to
them
do
out
about it?
left
There
and
are
right.
millions of ballots going out
What
right
you
now.
do
What
is
are
you
gonna
go
do?
and vote. You do a solicited ballot,
No,
and that's
I'm not-
okay,
I know
or
your
you go and
complaint.
vote.
I'm asking you about the fact that millions of people
You go
have
and
received-
vote. You go and
No,
vote
but
like
what I'm
they
saying is that what are
like
you
they
gonna do
used
about
to
the
in
fact
the
that
old.
millions of people.
You either do, Chris, a solicited ballot where you're sending it in, they're sending
I got
it
my
back, and
absentee
you're
ballot in the
sending-
mail right
They
now.
have
I got to
mailmen
vote.
with lots
I'm
of
gonna
them.
I'm gonna
Did you
vote
see
when I get
what's
home.
going on? Take a look at West Virginia, mailmen selling the ballots. They're being
West Virginia,
sold.
they still got
They're
Pony
being
Nigga,
Express.
who's buying
This
ballots?
is a horrible thing for our country.
There is no-
This
Hey
is
man, I
not
got ballots of trees. Which one
going to end well.
I'll take the weed first.
No, this is an actual tree. I got billions of them.
for the last
I'll build you a house.
including 2 Republican states. And you don't have to solicit the ballot. It's
You know, if you
sent
get a
to
tree house, that's an
Sent to
absentee
you.
ballot.
What they're saying is that it has to be a postmark by the time, by election day. If it doesn't get in till the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted. He's just afraid of counting the votes because he
You're
knows
wrong.
the outcome.
You're wrong.
No, I want to continue with you on
I
this,
love
Vice
counting the
President Biden.
Chris,
because
he's so wrong when he makes
in
a
fact,
statement
no,
like that.
excuse me, Vice President Biden, the biggest problem, in fact, over the years with mail-in voting has not been fraud historically. It has been that sizable numbers, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are thrown out because they have not been properly filled out, or there is some other irregularity, or they missed the deadline. So the question I have is, are you concerned that the Supreme Court with a Justice Barrett will settle any dispute?
I'm concerned that any court would settle this because here's the deal. When you get a ballot and you fill it out, you're supposed to have an affidavit. If you didn't know, you have someone say that this is me. You should be able to, if in fact you can verify that's you before the ballot is thrown out, that's sufficient to be able to count the ballot because someone made a mistake and not dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for, say it's you, that is totally legitimate.
All right.
Excuse me, Chris, when you
I
have
have a
80 million ballots
gentlemen, I have a final
sending
question.
and swamping the system, you know it can't be done. You know it can't, and already
All
there's
right,
been
so now-
fraud,
Mail
deception.
service delivers
Wait a minute, gentlemen, and the
185
final
million
question
pieces of
is,
mail a day.
in 8
ballots.
states, we can keep talking. In 8 states, election workers are prohibited currently by law, 8 states, from even beginning to process ballots, even take them out of the envelopes and
Yes.
flatten them until Election Day. That means that it's likely, because there's going to be a huge increase in mail-in balloting, that we are not going to know on election night who the winner is, that it could be days, it could be weeks,
Could be months.
until we find out who the new president is.
I will
So
I will
first
agree
for
on
you,
that one.
sir, finally, for the vice president, I hope neither of you will interrupt the other. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm during this extended
You're talking about
period,
your supporters, you
not to
piece of
engage
shit.
in any civil unrest, and will you pledge tonight that you will not declare victory until the election has been independently certified? President Trump, you
I'm
go first.
urging my supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully because that's what has to happen. I am urging them to do it. As you know, today there was a big problem. In Philadelphia, they went in to watch. They're called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia, bad things. And I am urging...
Like that Rocky movie.
If it's a fair election, I am 100% on board. But
Apollo Creed died in Philadelphia.
He didn't die in Philadelphia. He died in did he fight in Philadelphia? No, he got beat up in L.A. He got killed in L.A.
Was it L.A.?
Yeah, remember he went to L.A.
means you have a fraudulent...
Come on, Stallion. Mamma mia, Stallion. Mamma mia.
Throw the towel.
He'd be nice, he'd nice. Throwing the damn down. That's my only impression.
They cheat. Hey,
It's a damn
No,
good
I
one.
heard it.
ballots in a way...
Throwing the damn down. By then, his Jerry curl dry. He dried his Jerry curl. You know how hard you got to get hit for somebody to knock all the activate out of your Jerry curl? And man, that shit went dry. It went dry. That's how hard he hit him. And then he fucking twitched on the floor. Remember that shit? He twitched on the floor.
Not to declare
He didn't give a fuck. He'd be nice, he'd nice.
Yes, and here's the deal. They count the ballots, as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened until Election Day. And if there's thousands of ballots, it's going to take time to do it. And by the way, our military, they've been voting by ballots since the end of the Civil War, in effect. And that's what's going to happen. Why is it for them somehow not fraudulent? It's the same process. It's honest. No one has established at all that there is fraud related to mail-in ballots, that somehow it's a fraudulent process.
It's already been established. Take a look at Carolyn Maloney's race.
I
and
asked
how-
you had an opportunity
Look
to
at
respond.
Carolyn Maloney.
Go ahead.
They have no idea what
Vice
happened.
President Biden, go ahead.
He has no idea what he's talking about. Here's the deal. The fact is, I will accept it, and he will too. You know why? Because once the winner is declared after all the ballots are counted, all the votes are counted, that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome. And I'll be a president not just for the Democrats. I'll be a president for Democrats and Republicans. And this guy...
fuck
no
libertarians.
Gentlemen, will you say that's the end of
You
it?
third-party motherfuckers.
Ballot count.
We're
And I
going to
think
leave
he
it
does
there.
too.
To be continued as in more debates as we go on. President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating.
How do these 70-year-old dudes stay up this late? That's what I want to know.
And we want to thank Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic for hosting this event. The next debate, sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates, will be 1 week from tomorrow, October 7th, at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. The two vice presidential nominees, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris,
Oh, Kamala,
will debate
whip
at 9
his
p.m. Eastern
ass.
that night. We hope you watch. Until then, thank you and good night.
This nigga tired. He was like, how do I go hit this whiskey?
Clearly, this was the